Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Wanted to bring you guys an update. We're going to be looking at ADA today, Cardano, XLM, a little bit of Stellar, and OmiseGo. Those are the three we're going to be paying attention to. And these are altcoins that, I've just kind of had my eye on. They tend to move pretty fast and aggressively when they do move. So, guys, and also for long-term investing, this isn't financial advice, but these seem to be three good projects so far from what I've seen at least and heard. And there's nothing ever wrong with throwing in $50 or $100 and getting in on one of these early and see what happens. If you want to hold it, for a few years and see what goes on or till the next top of the market cycle, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, you want to accumulate down towards the bottom. You don't want to be buying towards the top. So, you look at this chart and you can tell we're getting close to being bottomed out. And trends will only go for so long before another trend steps in. Bull markets only go so long, bear markets only go so long. They're cyclical and they'll repeat themselves. So that's what we're going to get into today. If you guys could hit that like button, subscribe, notify, all that stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Can't do this channel without you guys. You're the ones who make it happen. So I'm very thankful to each and every one of you, and we'll get into this. So ADA, we're going to be looking at all these on the one-day chart. So we're stepping back and we're just taking a big picture view. I'm not, you guys know I like to zoom in a lot of times. We'll get in real close to the different patterns and the candle formations and all that. This, we're just stepping back and we're looking at potential accumulation zones, overhead resistance, what could happen in the future in a longer term scale. So that's why we're looking at day. You could also look at the week as well, but we're just going to stick to the day right now. So on the day, we have been in this downtrend for ADA, and this started in May, and we have just consistently been moving to the downside. You can see we had the 20 moving average, the 50 moving average, and also the 200-day moving average that we've just been, it's been taking us for a ride. And what we're trying to do, we start with that 20 EMA, we close over that, and then the 50, then the 100, then the 200, and it just works its way up like that, guys. You have to think of them when they're up above as overhead resistance, and then when they're below and you're in that bull market, you got to think of them as support. So right now, you can see we have some, we're probably kissing down in here with the 20 and the 50. We may zoom into that just to see where we're at, but still just wanted to keep this back so you can see how far we have fallen. So, it's been 8-9 months that we've just been cruising down like this, and now what you're starting to see, we had one of our lowest prices here around 2 cents, but what started to happen, we started to have higher lows on the RSI here. So it was exciting to see that we had that divergence to where, price is going down, but the RSI is going up. So that means it's gaining strength. And as it gained strength, it went up in price. So it went from around that 2 cents up to 5 cents. So it made a nice little move. And now we've just been moving sideways. And what we have to do, we have to look at this as overhead resistance. One of the biggest things we need to get up above on this Fibonacci is the 0.236. We need to get up above that. We need to close above it. And that's along with this 200-day moving average. Both of those things could signify that we're starting that next altcoin cycle. So really keep your eyes on those. But, people really underestimate this. A lot of institutional investors are really looking at this 200-day moving average. It's a thing of importance. So keep your eye on it, my friends. That's for the longer term. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you this. We had a higher low though, right? So as price went down, the RSI is starting to go up. And what we did, as opposed to just coming up here and then coming back down for a lower low, we had a higher low. We pulled into here. And now we're going to have to see, we're getting in that kind of equilibrium pattern if we're going to be able to break up through this higher high. It all works like that, guys. Higher high, higher low, higher high. We did have a higher low, but then we had a lower high and then a lower low, and we just started moving sideways. And this is how you have to look at stuff. Also pay attention to the volume. Volume's been going down. So, for ADA, I would be planning of, okay, here's some overhead resistance around here, that 4 cents or so. But also, there's a potential double bottom if we do fall and we break it down past this 0.03 and we fall from there. That's a key area. At both spots, we had bullish engulfing candles where we moved up from there. But I would pay very close attention to this 0.02744. where we could potentially have a double bottom and then try to get up over top of this 200-day moving average. I think that's one of our best bets. That's something I'm looking at, and you can always draw trend lines here and pay attention. So if this trend line were to break right here, you would know most likely excuse me guys, I haven't been feeling the best, been having some allergies here, weather changing all over the place. But if this trend line was to break, then I would anticipate that most likely we'd come down here and attempt that double bottom. So that's what I'm looking for at ADA. You know, it's at 4 cents right now, guys. It has been as high as, what was it, 38? Let me see here for us. 1 second. Yeah, so we're up around 39, 40 cents, and now we're at 4 cents. And remember, these market cycles, how they repeat themselves and a lot of times get larger. So we zoom down in like this, and then we'll stay flat for a while and then almost form that rounded bottom and start working our way back up higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And it's like stair steps, just the opposite of this, where we're having lower highs and lower lows. So it's the exact opposite. And that's where I said trends, they'll exhaust themselves. We start on the short term, then we move to the intermediate term, then we move to the longer term, and they just keep going up, just like the Elliott waves, where they can start at the sub-minute and all those very small in on the minutes all the way up to the grand super cycles. And that stuff, really, guys, study a lot into that about cycles. Next one we're going to go to, let's do OMG, and then we'll do some Stellar. Alright, so you all know OmiseGo is one of my favorites. I think they're doing a lot. They have a parent company, have a partnership with McDonald's, doing a lot of big things, and they're basically trying to bank the unbanked, and there's a lot, if you look into it, behind the fundamentals. And look into Omise, that was their parent company, the financial company. But with OMG, beyond that, there's not a huge supply of them. I think it's like 142 million, something along those lines. And also, a lot of people don't want to, put this into account. There was a lot of hype behind OmiseGo, and it still has a very good following. And coins like that, when we get into the next bull market, number one, fundamentals is key. But even without fundamentals, people are already excited about OmiseGo because they know the name, and Cliff High has talked about OmiseGo potentially going huge in the future. And whether you believe his stuff or not, or whatever, it was still putting the name out there, and it was getting people to recognize this and say, oh, could this be the next Ethereum or this or that? So I do feel like it will have a nice pump on the next market cycle, and you can see we're getting down to the floor here where we're just moving sideways. With OmiseGo, we've had these runs where we shot up and then we pulled back, and then we had that big blast, and then from there we were making those lower highs and lower lows. And if we did the Fibonacci, there's no point even doing the Fibonacci here, guys, because it's basically we've had a full retrace from where we started all the way back down. And now we're looking to see if we can get above that 20 EMA, that 50 moving average, and that 200-day moving average, which eventually we're going to have to, because you'll see this will just keep dropping down and price is going to come to it. So we're either going to hit it and drop back down even farther, which there's not a ton of room left to go down a lot more, or we'll finally break it and we'll start that new market cycle. But trend lines and all those things are important. I can just see kind of from my eye here on the RSI. You guys know how I draw lines on the RSI. That's a trend line that's going to need to be broken. We've come up how many times and tested it, and then we've bounced back down. So we're going to have to see if we can get over that. But down here, what we are having is higher lows on the RSI, so you can almost draw that symmetrical triangle. So if we draw it like this, we're going to have to break out of here at some point. We're going to get into that apex, and then it'll be time. But I'm going to wait for that big volume stick, guys. I'm going to be looking for these indicators. I just feel like OmiseGo at $1.16. Man, this coin was $28, almost $29 at one point, and it's all the way down to $1.16. And guys, definitely, I'm not your financial advisor, and I'm not saying anything, but this could be a coin that could go to $50 or beyond in the next market cycle easily. If it went to 30 in this one, the next one could easily, it could be in that $50 to $100 range. And if you're picking something up for $1.16 and it even goes to $25 or $20, think about that. You could have a 20 bagger. That's amazing. 20 extra money. Am I saying that's going to happen? No. but there's a possibility that it could. So keep that in the back of your minds, guys. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm going to go to Stellar. Trying to find, I was looking on here, there's not a ton, since it's a newer coin, not a ton of chart data. We'll just go with this right here. You guys tell me what you think about Stellar. I want to hear your opinions on it. I have not got to dig too deep into it. What I've been studying more is technical analysis and just charts alone, and you know, looking at the fundamental news. I haven't got to be able to research companies like I was getting to do before, because I've been putting more time into other things in terms of technical analysis and everything else, YouTube, all that. So you guys let me know about XLM, what you think about it. Here's the trend line XLM is going to need to get over, and if it does get over it and it closes over it, and it does it on volume over the next few weeks, that could be huge there. This could be a very big break. Stellar at one point was up around 52 cents, and now it's at 7 cents. This is a guy. This is one too that can really run, my friends. We've seen it. I mean, you can see this here, and it just shoots up. Even these reactions were strong reactions. Now this was a descending triangle. You can just see this and start picking these things out with me. You see that? Lower highs, flat bottom, and we broke down out of it. So now we're looking for support here around this 7 cents. Right around this range, we should be looking for support right in there, the top of this. And then on the RSI, you can draw this. Here's another trend line. So always put these in there, guys. On the RSI down here, it looks like we had a double bottom. We hit here, we came back up, hit again. And then we also did a little divergence here because this price was lower than this price here, and they had the same bottom, so this may be starting to go up a little bit too. But remember, we have that 20 EMA, that 50 moving average, and that 200 overhead. So pay close attention to these things. The trend lines, the moving averages, what the candles are looking like, and also look at like the higher highs if you're having those coming in, or higher lows or lower lows, or you know, lower highs. I know it sounds confusing when you're just getting to know this stuff, but it's like riding a bike. Like after you do it for so long, you're going to understand. You know, you're seeing lower highs here, and we have a flat bottom here. There's a descending triangle. 70% of the time, they're going to break down. So, you know, you can kind of plan for the downside, as it's going more potential for it to happen, you know, land down in here than it is to break up. But you also want to plan for the upside. What have we talked about? We plan for the upside, the downside, the sideways. We have a plan for all of it. But Stellar still has a lot of work to break out of this trend line, because we may, I mean, there'd still be good gains, but if you're going extremely long, like we were on the day chart here, and you're looking for the next bull cycle and you're looking to accumulate, you know, there very well could come back up here, hit off this, and then fall back down even farther. That's a possibility you have to be ready for if you just want to get in now and then ride it up to this 200-day, and then you say, hey, you know, this isn't looking too good on a 200-day. We might have some rejection, and then you get out before you get pushed to the downside. But you know, anything can change by the day, guys. That's why we do this, upside, downside, sideways, because anything can happen. Yeah, it could show a bull flag like we were looking at Bitcoin last night. Yeah, it could show a bull flag textbook. This is a bull flag. You got your flagpole. You got everything that's happening. The volume for the flagpole was great. The decreasing volume for the actual flag itself, everything's looking good, and then it turns into a BART pattern or something, you know, or the pattern just itself breaks up, or we just continue to move sideways. There's all different types of things that can happen, and you know, like we've studied about, even in that flag pattern, you don't want for the flag more than about 20 days or so for that flag. So if it keeps extending out, then it becomes invalid. And these are the things we have to know, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to study, guys. That's why I said I haven't got to look into Stellar and some of these companies and really dig into them, because I'm trying to learn technical analysis the best I can, studying price action, charts, all that type of stuff, and I'm trying to get videos out to you all. So if you could, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This is what I'm thinking on these ones, and God bless each and every one of you. Take care.